Hey everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we'll give you ILTV's latest positive highlights. So get ready to smile because coming up, the old city of Jerusalem has just reopened an amazing spot for everyone to go check out. The IDF is celebrating their latest accomplishment, and a new Israeli navigation app could change many people's lives. So yalla, let's get started. If you're considering visiting Israel in the winter but are worried about what you can do in the cold weather, have no fear. It's time for YTV's Beautiful Faces of Israel segment, which is produced by the incredible Inon El Natan, and we have the scoop on the winter's activities you just cannot miss out on.
The Israeli winter is a great time for hiking. We set out to find the recommended tourist destinations for your trip, and without breaking the bank in Israel. Let's start. The first destination is the Sweet Ramon Hotel from the Smart Hotel chain in Mitzpe Ramon. There's nothing like a desert hike in the winter, and Mitzpe Ramon is a perfect destination. Sweet Ramon is a cozy hotel with well-designed rooms and warm and courteous service. The hotel overlooks Ramon Crater, which is the largest aerospace crater in the world. Next destination, Rotem's Gastus Rotem's Desert Life, a combination of simplicity and desert quality, privacy, and friendly hospitality, along with modern comfort. You can combine a yoga workshop and a mud building workshop. Next destination, Rural Resort in Cliffview, located in the Arava Laz. At Nov Zukim, there are 12 spectacular stone cabins which are named after the desert streams and fitted for couples and families. The cabins are located on the hills with surrounding desert views. All cabins are air-conditioned, which allow comfort all year long. Next destination, Castel Winery in the mountains of Jerusalem. In addition to a fascinating tour, there are also wine and cheese tastings at the visitor center. The wine from Castel Winery has won many awards and is sought after in many locations around the world.
I would like to invite you to come and visit the Benji Castel.
Next destination, Ancient Niot Park.
Tel Aviv is a biblical landscape reserve. Basically, the idea was to take a Bible in one hand so that as we walk around, we can understand what it was like to live in biblical times. We want to invite you to come to Neot Kedomim and experience the Bible with all your senses.
We're here all year round, and every time you come, there's something different.
Next destination, suitable for families with children, Strawberry.
Welcome to Ruach Shtut, where we grow happy strawberries.
Next destination, at the southern end of Mount Carmel, between Zikron Yaakov and Binyamina, lies Ramat Hanadiv, a natural gem dedicated to the memory of Baron Edmund de Rothschild. Ramat Hanadiv's vision focuses on the creation of sustainable interactions between mankind, nature, and the environment. Next goal, it's time for action. Karting Haifa. There you can enjoy a family experience with some adrenaline. The best karting routes in Israel, simulators and facilities for all ages. Next goal, keep up the action for the whole family in the Challenge Park. Welcome to Balagan. There the children will be able to enjoy a park and a variety of facilities for all ages. Next destination, Batya and Calwood Suites in the Ayin Hod Artists Village.
My name is Batya. My husband's name is Claude. I invite everyone to come visit us, stay with us, enjoy our spirit, our beautiful timmerim, our beautiful gardens. Everything that I put into the studio, each unit is designed to be very, very original. We wait to see you.
Minutes from Ein Hod from Matthew are our last destination for today. The Experience of Riders located in Beit Oren.
Hi, I'm Ido from Chavayat HaRokbim in Beit Oren. In the ranch we have horseback riding, we have an ATV tour. Laser tag, and a restaurant.
Thank you for being with us. We will soon find more new destinations in Israel's beautiful landscape.
An ancient Roman square in Jerusalem's Old City has just been reopened to the public after decades of being closed for excavation and repairs. And Aaron Porras has the story.
Originally discovered in the 1930s, this incredible Roman square dates back to 135 CE, and it was built beneath the Damascus Gate on the north side of Jerusalem's Old City as an entryway for Emperor Hadrian Augustus to parade his army's victory over the Jewish Bar Kokhba revolt. But today, thousands of years later, it's serving as a timeline of Jerusalem's history, as the layers of each new era in the city can be clearly seen in the stones lining the walls. In fact, Antiquities Authority archaeologists even point out to how each layer marks when an empire was defeated and a new one was built on top of it. As for what remains of the original gate, though, while its central arch is roughly 40 meters or 140 feet wide, and 20 meters or over 65 feet tall, and it boasts gorgeous decorations and markings that are still visible today. Markings that even include a game board of some sort where Roman soldiers are thought to have passed the time. But whatever was done there before, today you can go and see it for yourself, because after years of restoration for safety's sake, the site is finally reopened to the public.
Now, the startup nation is at it again. High-tech companies in the Jewish state are leading the pack in a new emerging industry, and global economic leaders are taking note.
It's been a strong kickoff for Israeli startups in 2020, and especially for those in the Industry 4.0 sector, or those that work to digitize older industries through data and machine learning. And it's all because they're now setting yet another Israeli record for investments. According to newly released reports by nonprofit startup Nation Central, Israel has jumped from $112 million in investments in these businesses to $650 million in just 5 years. And that accounts for roughly 6% of all the global financing in the sector. Of course, there are some issues, though. For one, while businesses with comprehensive Industry 4.0 strategies are thought to be more successful overall, the industry is young, and Israeli 4.0 startups are struggling to become profitable and gain clients. Still, all industries start somewhere, and major companies around the world are all eyeing Israel as the world's highest concentration of technological startups in this sector. And that's why at the end of the month, dozens of Israeli 4.0 startups will be networking with world leaders at the Israel Industry 4 conference in Tel Aviv.
The world is marking International Cancer Awareness Day, and Israel is, of course, participating by showing off just a fraction of the dozens of discoveries and treatments in the field of oncology. ILTV's Nittany Manson has the details.
So how has the Jewish state been fighting cancer? Well, in light of World Cancer Awareness Day, Israel has now published a video breaking down the top 5 Israeli discoveries that are giving hope to patients around the world. First up, we have Velcade, a targeted chemotherapy, and it's already been approved by the FDA for treatment of multiple myeloma and mantle cell lymphoma, which are 2 cancers that primarily affect white blood cells. In fact, the World Health Organization even lists it as an essential medicine for any health system. Next is IceCure, Medi-Cal's ProSense system, which focuses on cryoablation, or using freezing liquid nitrogen to destroy tumors without needing surgery. IceCure has proven itself to be an effective treatment for benign and malignant tumors that may appear all over the body, and it's already approved by the FDA. Third on the list, we have the discovery of the RAD51 gene, and how mutations to this gene can actually lead to breast cancer. And while this isn't a treatment in itself, it does pave the way for early detection methods. And finally, last 2 on the list are a new bone marrow transplant technique that greatly expands the donor pool for patients on the waiting list, and Doxil, another advanced chemo drug. But Doxil is the first drug that directly applies itself to tumors, thanks to the unique way the drug is encapsulated. Now, these are just some of the many, many ways that Israeli research and development are helping make cancer a thing of the past.
The Israeli military is celebrating a new success. An Israeli-developed drone defense system has just been tested out, and it has a 100% success rate in intercepting targets by shooting them down with a laser beam. The achievement could change the future of Israel's defense.
It's called the Drone Dome, an Israeli-developed drone defense system that shoots down targets with a laser beam, and it has been 100% successful in intercepting threats in the latest tests. The Drone Dome effectively detects, identifies, and neutralizes hostile drones in military and civilian sites. and it can successfully maneuver its way around military forces and facilities, border protection sites, and civilian targets that could be vulnerable. Not only does this defense system literally melt drones with its laser beam, it also has sophisticated electronic systems that allow operators to interfere with the signals of a hostile drone and even take control of it. On Wednesday, the defense system even managed to track and hit small drones that were maneuvering in flight, which is much more challenging. The Israeli aerospace company Rafael has been working on the Drone Dome for years, and in 2018, unconfirmed reports claimed that the British military even used it to ground an intruding unmanned UAV that forced London's Gatwick Airport to close down for over 36 hours.
At this point, it's hard to think about life without a GPS. Navigation apps have made our lives so much easier, from Google Maps to Waze. Well, now a new Israeli navigation app could change the lives of the visually impaired.
Right here. אתה נמצא בשדרות דוד המלך פינת אבן גבירול תל אביב.
We've all heard that voice, the soothing directions of our GPS navigation app that allows us to keep our eyes on the road and our hands on the wheel when we're driving without getting lost. And for the blind and visually impaired, GPS apps have become a necessity. But what happens when you arrive to your destination and then don't know how to navigate the space you're entering? Well, the Israeli tech startup Right Here is working to change that, one venue at a time. The company has built a system for visually impaired users to navigate big indoor places like malls, hospitals, and grocery stores. Right Here's system pre-maps different locations and installs Bluetooth-powered sensors that connect to a phone app. Info about each space is uploaded to the app, which narrates the surroundings and navigates the user through the area. The app even tracks the movements of the user and issues real-time voice prompts and warnings in case you find yourself in a dangerous situation. So if you're in the grocery store, Right Here can lead you to the vegetable aisle, or the bakery section, based on what you need. And in a mall, it's got you covered when you're searching for a shop. Today, Right Here operates in over 1,000 locations across the world, from McDonald's restaurants in Israel to a Marriott hotel in Washington, D.C. Now the Ra'anana-based company says their mission is to improve lives across the world by expanding even more.
Right Here is all about allowing blind and visually impaired people to acquire better orientation of the world. We believe at Right Here that inclusion starts with accessibility, and therefore our aim is to make the world more accessible for everyone.
The winner of the 2018 Eurovision Song Contest, Israeli pop star Nessa Buzz Eli, has just released her latest song, and it's taking aim at the quick fix culture in the United States. And let me tell you, the music video is something you have to watch more than once.
I'm a beautiful creature. I don't care about your modern time preachers. Welcome boys, too much noise.
That's the massive Israeli hit Toy that led to Israel's big win in the 2018 Eurovision Song Contest and made Israeli star Nessa Buzz Eli an international sensation. Her anthem became a source of self-empowerment for all those independently minded women out there, which is probably why all of her songs since have a common theme: promoting self-confidence. Since the Eurovision, Buzz Eli has released hits like Nana Banana and Bassa Sababa. Those songs and music videos have secured her reputation as one of the top bubblegum pop artists. And her latest song and music video is hard to keep your eyes off.
See this face, no, I don't like fire, 'cause I don't forget to hydrate. Who you think I was when it's all right in front of you? Tell me what you want, guess what?
Ricky Lake is the name of her most recent release, which hits back at America's instant gratification culture. In a world where social media and societal standards run our lives, Buzz Eli feels that we all look for those quick fixes to make us happier. She says her new song is meant to tell us to listen to our gut feeling and not the rules of society. Ricky Lake is an American actress and TV personality from the 1980s, and Buzz Eli says she used to obsessively watch her talk show, which gave her insight into how toxic it can be to be America's favorite. Watch the video for yourselves, people. You can thank us later. We view health insurance as a necessity for every one of our family members, but how about our pets? Well, the Israeli company Lemonade is now going to be offering pet insurance in the United States to make sure that our furry family members also receive the love and care that they need.
Now, most people think of their pets as family members, so why don't we always take care of them in the same way that we do our family members? Well, that's exactly the question that the Israeli insurance company Lemonade is now asking the public. In its It's also the reason that they've just announced that they will begin offering pet insurance in the United States. For now, the line is exclusively for cats and dogs, and it's expected to launch in a few months' time. But today, Lemonade uses behavioral economics, artificial intelligence, and chatbots to deliver renters and homeowners insurance policies starting at just $5 a month. So it will certainly be exciting to see what their pet insurance offers for our fuzzy little friends.
If you go to your local shelter, you'll most likely see tons of elderly dogs that just can't seem to find homes. It's a devastating truth. But most people don't want to take on the challenge of taking care of an old dog. One Israeli man is doing just the opposite. He has 50 dogs, and they're all ages 12 and above. Natasha Kirchuk went to check it out.
This is Chip. He loves balls, long walks around the neighborhood, and as many snuggles as he can get. But at 15 years old, he was abandoned by his family because they just couldn't take care of his growing health needs.
Chip was dropped off by 3 men that came here. They promised me they'll take care of him for everything you need, and they disappeared.
Chip is just one of millions of dogs that are abandoned every year because of one thing and one thing only: their old age. It's a sad fact. 1 in 4 dogs taken to shelters each year are dropped off because their owners say that they're just too old to handle. Oh, I love you.
That's why an Israeli man named Kobe Brooks has decided to do something about it. He's opened the first association for elderly dogs in Israel. Today, the center called Chofshi has around 50 dogs.
They come to die here, to spend the rest of their life in a healthy environment. Some people were asking me to come and pick up the dogs from Tel Aviv, from Jerusalem. I was picking up the dog and start making my way back to home. The dog's in the backseat of my car, I'm driving alone. But suddenly, in the middle of the way, I was like breaking, tears, crying like a baby. And then I realized that really dogs are really touching me in the places I didn't know.
Tuvia is 22 years old, the oldest dog in the Chofshi Center. Tequila is a beautiful lady. She has some issues staying balanced, but you know, we all do. This little guy is Magic Mike. He is a blind dog that used to be a service dog for the blind. So you can imagine that when he lost his sight, his owners weren't really able to take care of him.
Most of the dogs living in the center have issues walking, standing up, and controlling their bathroom needs. Some of their owners have brought them to Chofshi to live out their last days in a place of comfort. But others would have faced a dark fate in shelters.
חוץ ממקומות כאלה, האופציה היחידה בעצם היא להרדים כלבים במצב כזה. וכמו שראיתם כאן, הכלבים שאיתנו הם לא סובלים. טוב להם, הם מאושרים, ואין שום סיבה להרדים אותם.
Today there are over 33,000 dogs in shelters across Israel.
אני חושבת שאנשים שמאמצים כלב לא רואים כל כך רחוק. הכלב שהוא כמו הילד שלך, אתה לא מדמיין לעצמך את הזקנה שלו.
It's really impossible to find a home for an elderly dog. Really impossible. The government, the state should take care of the animals.
But if you were to meet the dogs at Chofshi, you might change your mind about bringing an elderly dog into your home.
אני חושבת שכלבים קשישים נותנים אהבה בכמה שהם מודים, בכמה שהם באמת מעריכים. אני מרגישה את זה, שהאהבה שאני מקבלת מהם היא אחרת.
And now it's time for the Torah portion with Sandra Oster-Barris, Director of the Christian Friends of Israeli Communities in Heartland.
Hello, today's Torah portion is Yitro, Jethro. And this week, we will be reading the 10 Commandments. Now, for people all over the world, Jews and Christians who read the Bible and hold it sacred, the 10 Commandments is important. It's very important. This is the revelation of God to the nation of Israel at Sinai for the first time, and the most direct way ever since. One of the things that I've noticed recently, as I've had many wonderful relationships with Christians, is that Christians and Jews count these 10 commandments slightly differently. The 10 commandments begin, I am the Lord your God who have took you out of Egypt. For Jews, that is the first commandment. However, most Christians don't start the count at that verse, but take it to the next verse. You shall not have any other gods before me. And then they count the next verse, that you shall not make any graven images, any pictures, as a separate commandment. Jews, however, see that differently. I am the Lord your God who took you out of Egypt. That in and itself is a commandment. What is the commandment? To believe in the one God. It's not enough that you should not have other gods, or that you should not create any images and worship them. It is that you first have to believe in God, the one God, the all-powerful God who took you out of Egypt. Now, I think this is very significant, not just because you have the one God and then you have a negative, don't make other gods. But in fact, if you look at the third verse, do not make any pictures or graven images, that is not an all-encompassing commandment not to draw pictures, not to have art, not to have sculptures, but it comes within the context of do not have any other gods before me. In other words, it's all one commandment, and it is very clear. This is the commandment that is not only must you believe in the one God, but the second commandment, you may not worship any other gods in addition to God, the God of Israel, the God who took you out of Egypt. And that not worshiping other gods includes idols, includes pictures, includes sculptures. You want to draw a picture that has nothing to do with worship because you want to draw a picture of something beautiful, there's no problem with that because it's not idolatry. This has been a few words from the Bible, from the heart of biblical Israel. Good evening.
That's all for today's Good Week Israel. Hope we've helped you start your week off with a smile. I'm Emmanuel Kadosh, and see you next week.